Look, you're going to see a ton of Week 1 preview videos, but this is the only one you'll need. We're breaking down the biggest games, the key matchups, and I'm giving you my picks for every major Big Ten contest, including that monster rematch between Texas and Ohio State. We're skipping the surface level stuff and getting right to what matters. My name is Zach, welcome to the Sports Corner at Choose Adventure Media, and let's get into it. Before we get to the main event on Saturday, the Big Ten is giving us a couple of appetizers to kick off the season on Friday, August 29th. Now, these aren't the flashiest games on the schedule, but they're absolutely critical for setting the tone. First up, you've got Michigan State hosting Western Michigan. After a couple of chaotic seasons, the Spartans are desperate for some stability. A clean, dominant win at home isn't just wanted, it's non-negotiable. We'll get our first glimpse of what this team's identity is really going to be. It's not a matter of if the Spartans win, it's by how many. Then you have Illinois playing Western Illinois at home. For Brett Bielema's crew, this is mostly a tune-up game, but it's an important one. The Illini finally have some buzz going into 2025, and all eyes are on the trenches. Can they establish that physical, grinding dominance they'll need to survive the brutal Big Ten schedule? Give me the Illini by at least 4 scores. These games might not make national headlines, but for the real fans, they're the first pieces of the 2025 puzzle. Alright, let's turn to the game that everyone has had circled on their calendar since the day the schedule dropped. The one that's going to dominate the pregame shows and has immediate college football playoff implications right out of the gate. Oregon-Montana State. Just kidding. Of course I'm talking about the number 1 ranked Texas Longhorns heading to Columbus to take on the number 3 ranked defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes. This isn't just a game, it's a story. It's a direct rematch of last season's college football playoff semifinal, where the Buckeyes punched their ticket to the title game with a punishing 28-14 win. Who could forget the play that sealed it? A Jack Sawyer strip sack that led to an 83-yard scoop and score. That one play crushed Texas's championship dream and sent Ohio State to its first title under Ryan Day. The stakes couldn't be higher. Ohio State wants to prove its reign is just beginning. Texas, loaded with the nation's top recruiting class, is on the hunt for its first national championship in 20 years. The all-time series is tied 2-2, so this feels like a tiebreaker for national bragging rights. It all goes down Saturday, August 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern on Fox. So, how is this game actually going to play out? It's a fascinating clash of questions, and the team with the better answers is walking out with the biggest win of Week 1 and potentially the entire season. The first and most obvious question is under center. This is the story of the game. On one side, you've got Arch Manning, maybe the most hyped quarterback prospect in over a decade, finally taking over as the full-time starter for the Longhorns. That last name carries a whole lot of weight, and now he has to prove he can carry a team with championship hopes. He's been in the system for 3 years, which is a huge plus for his comfort level. But this is his first real road start, and it's in one of the toughest places to play in all of college football. On the other sideline, Ohio State is starting redshirt freshman Julian Sayin. Sayin, a former 5-star recruit himself who transferred from Alabama after Saban retired, managed to win the starting job in a crowded quarterback room over Lincoln Kienholz and Tavian St. Clair. He spent last year learning from the national champion Will Howard. But this is a completely different kind of pressure. Your first career start is against the number 1 team in the country and one of the best defenses in the country? No pressure, right? While some might give Manning the edge because of his experience in the system, the pressure on both of these young quarterbacks is off the charts. Next big question, how do you replace a small army? What I mean by that is both of these programs are basically NFL talent factories, and the 2025 draft was proof of that. Texas lost a dozen players, a program record, while Ohio State had a mind-boggling 14 players drafted. For the Buckeyes, that included stars like receiver Emeka Egbuka and defensive end Jack Sawyer, the hero from their last meeting. This game is all about program depth. Both schools recruit at an insane level and have for years, but we're about to see which one has done a better job of developing that next man up. Then there's the chess match on the sidelines, and this could be a huge advantage for Texas. Steve Sarkisian and his coordinators have been together now for 5 years, and that kind of stability is priceless. Ohio State, on the other hand, is dealing with a major staff shakeup. They lost offensive coordinator Chip Kelly to the NFL, and defensive coordinator Jim Knowles to a conference rival, Penn State. Ryan Day has promoted longtime wide receiver coach Brian Hartline to offensive coordinator and brought in former NFL head coach Matt Patricia to run the defense. Putting in new systems is always tough, but doing it with a freshman quarterback against a team with the chemistry Texas has, that's a massive challenge. Now for the on-field matchups, because that's where this game is going to be decided. The first battle is in the trenches. Texas has to replace 4 starters on its offensive line, which is a major red flag when you're about to face an Ohio State defensive front that's expected to be loaded with talent and experience. But flip that around, and Texas is believed to have one of the best pass rushing groups in the country, which will be a huge test for Ohio State's rebuilt offensive line. Then you look at the skill players. Ohio State is, as usual, absolutely stacked at wide receiver. Jeremiah Smith, arguably the best player in the entire country, Carnell Tate, Brandon Inniss, but they're running up against a Texas secondary that's expected to be a real strength of the team. That matchup, the Buckeye receivers versus the Longhorn defensive backs, is going to be a war. The word out of Austin is that this might be Sark's best defense since he arrived, which is the perfect safety net for a young quarterback. So, what are the X factors? For Texas, it's simple. Can Arch Manning handle the spotlight in his first true test? He doesn't have to be a superhero, but he absolutely has to protect the football and manage that hostile crowd. For Ohio State, the X factor is the Horseshoe itself. No, not that horseshoe, this one. That stadium is a fortress. The Buckeyes haven't lost a home game to anyone, except for Michigan, since 2021. Can that crowd get in the heads of a young Texas team? Okay, time for the prediction. The betting lines see this as a razor-thin contest. The odds opened with Ohio State as a 4.5-point favorite, but a ton of money has come in on Texas, shrinking that line to just 1.5 or 2.5 points. The projected total is a low 47.5, which tells you Vegas is expecting a gritty defensive slugfest. And I agree. Ohio State has the home field and the confidence that comes with being defending champs. They've won their last 6 games against AP top 10 opponents. But Texas has a massive advantage in coaching continuity and frankly returns more known commodities, even with their draft losses. Ohio State is breaking in a new quarterback and new coordinators on both sides of the ball. That's just too much to ask against a team this talented and this well coached. I'm picking the Texas Longhorns to win this game outright. I think their defense will cause a lot of problems for the inexperienced Julian Sayin, and I trust Steve Sarkisian will have a brilliant game plan for Arch Manning to manage. It's going to be close, it's going to be tough, but Texas gets its revenge. Give me the Longhorns 28-21. Alright, that's how I see it going down. But the best part of college football is that everyone's got a take. So what's yours? Drop your prediction for Texas-Ohio State in the comments. Who wins and why? And if you want this kind of in-depth breakdown every week this season, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. You're not going to want to miss what we have coming this season. The storylines are in place, the teams are ready, and the biggest rematch in college football is here. It's going to be a wild ride. Thank you for watching. My name is Zach with the Sports Corner at Choose Venture Media, and I'll catch you in the next one.